I messed up the recording of this video slightly major, I think. So, for explanation, the top 3 video used a smaller frame background, which the style is more fitting in terms of presentation, and it's also more fitting because there's not much text required, so the smaller frame background fit here. However, throughout the entire time I'm recording myself for this video, I used the larger frame background instead, which is the one I usually use for the review video normally. It's a larger frame because I want to fit in as much text as possible, because these days the text is getting quite lengthy. But I did not notice the mistake at all until I finished recording the entire thing. So therefore, because of the mistake that I caused to myself, consider today, this video, is me taking a day off, being in front of camera. I'm so sorry. Anyway, here's a few reminders that this is the top 3 ranking in the JP version. In the past, the JP and the Global version are mostly the same except for character buffs, so the impact is pretty much the same when they arrive. However, now that Global got their own exclusive character even before JP, like Zerg is, the meta is very different in that there is no 100% guarantee that whatever meta JP has will be the same when it's carried over to Global. However, I still think that despite the server being very different between both servers now, the end result should be very much at least 70-80% similar when the JP unit arrives into the Global server, so it should be still mostly accurate enough for you to gauge whether you want to pull for a character in the future or not. For your sanity's sake, please only pull for the character you like. Them being meta is a bonus, but the game, last time I said the game power creep was on an exponential rate, and I still think that statement is still correct here. The power creep is fast. I don't know what accelerated that much, but we don't have enough new content to keep up with the new unit we're getting. And EX4, and they've introducing EX5 lock, right? And recycle cascade lock is not a good form endgame, so it's really bad right here, in my opinion. Anyway, for Sword is Adane EX2. Adane is the same as she was 6 months ago. However, DPS is power creep by a lot by the Romancing Saga. The entire Romancing Saga collab is the power level they bring to the game is extreme. I thought the power creep was bad, but then somehow make it way more bad. Adane fall off in terms of dealing damage, but her support capability is still really good. Again, for what she does, she gives Rune buff, which grants a lot of stuff, a lot of buff, and also FUA elemental attack whenever you do an attack. And she can also has an 18-hit AoE in her ultimate, so she can deal a lot of damage herself, and she can also grant a lot of buff to your entire team through her Rune buff thing from her latent power. For second is Final Emperor, one of the unit of the entire Romancing Saga collab, and I would say 2 of them in the Romancing Saga is really OP. One is right enough OP, which is Emperor, and one is on the level of other character in the current meta by the time that the collab was released. Emperor is a physical DPS, he can use a lot of weapon, and he also has this move called Kosoku Nebula, which is a 6-hit X move that can go through enemy dodge. This game always has a problem where the more multi-hit there are, the less damage cap problem you have, and the less they are, the more you run into damage cap, which is not as much damage. So you will always prefer having more multi-hit. However, they fixed that for Emperor and a lot of other characters by just giving them a very high amount of damage cap. So even though Emperor is only hitting for 6 hit, those 6 hit are hitting for 3 million damage each. So they are on par with the other 18 hit-ish character. So even though he's not as having a lot multi-hit as some other character, he still deal as much damage as them, so. And also, him and 2 other characters from the Romancing Saga, they have a passive where it's pretty much just granted for existing. Emperor grants a lot of buff to himself, and the only requirement for those buffs is for your teammate to be alive, which is by default all of your teammate is alive, so it's not even a problem. Then we have Viola EX2, one of the newer unit, on Master Viola, different from War Master Viola, War Master from the first game, War Master from the second game. War Master Viola can deal some damage, but she is not known for her damage. She is known for her ability to implant all physical weakness at once and then freeze them, and also reduce the enemy shield. It's not as like super powerful as some of the other character support unit we have in the meta, but she's still a good enough unit. For merchants is Edgar. Edgar is also power creep. I would say though, okay, a lot of the unit on this ranking video this time will be power creep by one existing unit by the name of Rock Bouquet, which I will talk about later. Edgar is no exception. He is essentially giving out signal level of buff and debuff, and can also drill through the enemy defense and mitigation, and yet he's power creep. But despite being power creep, we have no other new merchant since like 6 months ago, except Tiziano EX. So yeah, out of other merchant, he's still the best one. Power creep, yes, not the best anymore, yes, but he's still a good unit, I think. Then we have Richard EX. Richard EX is War Master, again, 16 hit. He's known for 16 hit, 8 through no attack, and 8 through FUA. However, even that is power creep because 16 hit is no longer the standard these days. The standard these days, everyone expects to have 18 hit plus FUA or something. So he is power creep on that hit count part. However, he still have a niche that he can FUA all 8 physical weapons you want from any teammate, so he does have a niche, so he's still good. And then we have Tiziano EX, which is, he is mostly specialized support in Spear and Dagger. However, his specialized support in Spear and Dagger is not as, well, it's not as good as some other character, like it is specialized support, so you thought like he would get something the same, but for those two damage type, but not really. Because Rock Bouquet exists, so he kind of just there. By buffer, he's decent, but he's very much been power creep by many other better support unit. But Dave is Lavina EX2, which in my opinion, one of the top 3 best support unit in the game right now. Lavina EX2, to explain it, she overshadowed her other partner unit, which is Tiziano EX. She is near, except she's better, as in she is the break extension unit that is meant to replace Nair, and she does his job so much better. In addition to the break extension, she also has an FUA of her own that restores her bliss point to herself, and whenever you break the enemy, she also inflicts dagger fragility down, which fragility is, it makes you take more damage from that damage type, and also reduce more shield. And also, her EX skill, which inflicts the break extension, does not have a turn limit like Nair's. You can use it at turn 1 and turn 2 if you want to. So she's like the super better break extension unit and like the must-have unit for any fight now because break extension whenever the enemies break is extremely useful. The second best thief goes to Noel, one of the 4 Romancing Saga collab character, and he is the reason why the other 3 characters has a requirement of having your teammates alive. Noel does the opposite. Noel wants your teammates dead. He absorbed them. Or rather, like the term is absorb, which is more accurate to say. But actually what happened though is that he killed them, and then he never revived them. But the moment he killed them, he also absorbed the stats, so he does more damage for himself. So yes, Noel absorption latent power, kill an allies, and don't trigger any revive on them, take off his stats for himself, and he will deal more damage with his skill. It's a way to do damage, but it's not as top tier as the other 2 duo, Emperor, Empress. But it is an option, so. And then you have Locke, which like I say, he is power creep and he's not even hit in the end yet. Same with Richard, but Richard's not to the same extent. Locke is 16 hit, right? And yet his 16 hit is commonly used when the enemy is broken. Like whenever the enemy is broken, he can double cast his 8 hit. But 16 hit is no longer good by today's standard, so he is power creep by default. Today's standard, people just get, you can just do an 18 hit, like on a normal skill, without any like strict conditions. So for Apothecary is Shanna. Yes, she is still here, and yes, I am also surprised that she is still here. Probably the best unit this game ever released, honestly. Anyway, despite Shanna still being the best Apothecary in the game, I would say one thing though. Shanna is power creep by a unit I will call Shanna 2, which you will understand later. But Shanna 2, I hate Shanna 2 for one reason, is that Shanna 2 could have been such a unique character on his own, and yet the dev just, like, rather than just giving him like a special character treatment because he is, you know, they decided to just give him Shanna the Kid. Like, I hate it so much. Anyway, despite Shanna 2 existing, Shanna is still a really good unit, and you can run Shanna 1 and Shanna 2 together, and pretty much give your entire team's 8 ton of Undying and 3 boost point region. It's an option, although it's kind of redundant in my opinion, but it is an option, and I still think that Shanna is still the best Apothecary in the game, despite them literally releasing a very similar version of Shanna. Second place is Stia. Stia, to quickly summarize, she is Axe nifty, as in that she has other mechanic that summon other teammates, other like town mates, and also like a point mechanic and also deal Axe damage. She's like a better nifty that's easier to use and also deal more damage. However, better nifty isn't as good for today's standard meta anymore, but she's still good though. Then third place is Rinyu EX, by technicality, even though she's kind of old. We have not got any new Apothecary since then except for Stia. And there is no other Apothecary on the same level as today's meta, so by technicality, the other best Apothecary, despite being outdated, go to Rinyu EX, because Rinyu still has a Sullen ult and she's a healer, so she does still have some usage, so. For Hunter is Setzer. Disregard the other two, it's only Setzer. Like I say, power creep meta so much and Hunter got no new unit in the past 6 months, and power creep hasn't been kind at all. The only one on this list that is close to on par with the current meta would be Setzer. Everyone else is already super outdated and power creep, so. Again, for what Setzer does, he implants Witness, he frees them, he also has some passive debuff and he can do like a 7-hit. Quite useful in that part, but there are better options these days, like Viola EX is another option, but I still think Setzer is good though. Also, you wonder why to put like this 2 big red text, because I know that there are some people who only skim through the video and just like watch the session for the quick info image graphic. And one thing that you might not realize is that sometimes a unit can be top 3 by technicality because there are no other better unit in that class. So someone who does not know anything and look at this video and they still think that, oh yeah, this unit is still in the top 3, it means that they must be really good, right? Nope, that's not the case. It means that they are still in the top 3 because they are the top 3 of that best hunter, or in this case, the best hunter class. That does not mean they are on par with today's meta at all. And the same thing is happening with the hunter class right now. Only Setzer is on par. Everyone else in the hunter class is quite power creep compared to compared to today meta standard. For Cleric is Avite. Avite is the, well, she still has a niche as the pet buff, Divine Beast buff, and no one else has contested in that niche yet. And lucky for Avite, that niche is still really demanded and a must-have niche, so she's still like a really good support for all teams. So yes, Avita is still the only one that does pet buff, and pet buff is really good, so she's still by default the best character, the best support to have for any team. So Saint Sass is the literal one of the final boss outside of Starfall, and he is special, like, you know, like how the dev gives his Xanthus special treatment. So instead of like giving him like this special unique kit where like he can power creep everyone with his DPS, which I would be fine with that, they just instead they give him the Shanna too. Like, they just give him the Shanna kit and just make it better. Like, I'm not even like kidding on that. His ES skill is the same as Shanna. It's the sapping 60% of SP for himself, and he grant the unsinkable to everyone and 3 boost point regen to everyone, which is the exact same as Shanna has, by the way. But in addition to that, Shanna 2 also deal quite a lot of damage by today's standard meta. So Shanna was never good for damage, but she's always there for the support. Saint Sass is Shanna 2, but with damage. So gosh darn it, why could we have not get a more unique kit for the literal final boss of the Starfall? For third is Odyssey X. Odyssey X is 15 hit, can go through dodge. Nice though, but it's power creep by today's standard because it's not 18 hit. But he still has a Sullen ult, and 15 hit to go through dodge is not bad, I guess. For Scholar is Final Empress, which in my opinion, one of the best DPS in the game, and the reason why the power creep meta accelerates so much. It's not because of any other character. The entire Amazing Saga collab accelerate the game power creep to a whole new level, and I hate it honestly. So to explain what she does, Final Empress has an 18 hit, technically 9 hit double cast, but she has an 18 hit on a normal skill. 18 hit on a normal skill, and the condition to achieve it is just very easy. Just cast the skill once and you get all the buff to cast that 18 hit next time. And like, we went from 16 hit that only be cast when the enemy is broken, to an 18 hit that can only be cast when used to 100% ultimate, to an 18 hit on a normal skill with barely any restriction. However, that is for single target only. When there's multiple enemy, use her EX skill instead, which is called Galaxy. You will know it's Galaxy because she yelled it out every single time she used it like a shonen character. Similar to Kosoku Nebula that Emperor has, Galaxy is a 6-hit that also go through... No, it's a 6-hit that has a very high amount of damage cap, but unlike Emperor who only go through the dodge, her go through dodge and mitigation. Mitigation like the type of, oh yeah, your damage is half every single hit. It go through all of that. And on top of everything she has, she also has 2 other ability. One, she has a 2-hit FUA that also bypass enemy dodge and mitigation. And second, she also has a passive that grants priority to the entire team whenever she's in the front row. So your Empress is in the front row, your teams will always go first before the enemy. So first of all, giving an 18 hit to a character with barely any restriction is kind of insane enough. And a 6 hit, never let it go to dodge and mitigation is fine because we do have Edgar who does that through a single target already. But then they decide to give her an FUA and also a priority granting to all allies so that whenever you act, your allies will always go first before the enemy. It's kind of like they give her way too much for a DPS, and I kind of hate how much power she brings to the game. And also, despite everything she does, she is not even the best unit from this collab. That honors go to Rock Bouquet, and I should tell you how insane this power creep is. What I just listed to you, an 18 hit, a 2-hit FUA that goes to mitigation, and a priority to all teammates, is the second best unit from a collab. Like, ugh! Anyway, moving on from Empress, second place goes to Rondo EX. Quite power creep again, overshadowed by Rock Bouquet, but he is still a good generalist magic support, and he is, his damage cap he granted and the FG from the background is still decent, but honestly, you have Rock Bouquet, you really have no reason to use most any other support, honestly. And then you have Terminus EX, which is Imagine Cyrus, but a sorcerer. He does a lot of damage, but most of it is single target hit, well 6 hit, but does have a high damage cap. But the damage that he does is not on par with the Emperor and Empress duo, so it's not really, he's not really standing out. But he is an option for DPS if you like him. Now for Dancer, introducing the one unit that I hate so much for power creeping the entire game so much that I even find that Empress that's not even the best unit from this collab. Rock Bouquet, which she does a lot of things, but let me try to go over each of them individually. Rock Bouquet has an AoE Salon ult, as in that she has an AoE ult which grants 100% potency up to everyone. She has a 3-hit AoE FUA, which is an improvement from 2-hit FUA that Media gives, so yeah, power creep right there, from 2-hit AoE to 3-hit AoE. She can grant boost point region to everyone, she can grant damage cap to everyone, she can grant a part of a stat through everyone's stat, similar to how Ojette EX does it. She can reduce the enemy shield by 10, she can make the enemy miss all the attack that they does to you, as in she inflict the missing stack, like the missing physical and elemental stack onto the enemy, and she can disable all form of enemy defense, whether they be damage mitigation like the half per hit thing, or any form of dodging, she disable all of that. So yeah, have you ever encountered the annoyance of those cascade log where the enemy damage, they keep mitigating the damage that you deal to the half damage reduction mechanic thing? Well, there's many ways to bypass now. I mean, you can just use a DPS, but with Rock Bouquet, you can just use it with any DPS and she will bypass all of that. No matter what enemy, all of the form of damage mitigation is shut down because of Rock Bouquet. And on top of that, she also does like Sullen ult, FUA, boost one region, damage cap, stat buff. Honestly, whatever team you're having right now in JP, I think like it's a very safe bet. You just put in Evite, Lavina EX2, and then Rock Bouquet, and just put whatever 5 other DPS you want to put in and just like demolish the enemy team with it, so... Second best answer go to Media EX. Starts in Media, introducing a new gimmick called Boost Point Stock. However, I would say, even before Media, Boost Point was never a problem. I mean, like, you can just run Shana for the 3 Boost Point region, or I guess Shana 2 now. But the Boost Point Stock is nice, even though it's not really needed, but I guess you will never run out of Boost Point now. In addition to the boost point stock though, Media can also do a 12-hit AoE, so... And Medusa EX is Medusa EX, still useful, actually got buffed by Touch Point 2, you can now like activate the weakness exploit in turn 1, so you can use it turn 1, do like about a hit of 5 to the enemy, also grant the entire buff to your team, and again has a solo no, so still useful. Now, instead of Medusa, Realm is also good here. She has well, she's kind of like a self-setup DPS. She's not like as strong in terms of DPS anymore these days, but she's still as good as she can self-buff everything by herself, just casting her Dream Brother, the 3 Dream Brother and the ES skill, and then everything is done. And She can also provide the weakness exploit to everyone, so Realm also still a good dancer and is interchangeable with Modoso here. Now that we're done with the ranking, as usual, I will show a video demonstration of what a high-end fight is like right now in JP. Again, courtesy to UNB, who has like all A4 character and who tests the meta characters to the absolute limit, so... The enemy we are up against is level 140 NPC, Oberek, and Erhard. Yes, level 140 NPC a thing now. No, they are not as powerful enough to keep up with the today's meta power creep. However, they are one of the few new content that you actually can test your new character to that is not just inflated HP of an old recycled boss, just like most Cascade log, okay? So, the content new boss fight is really just not enough new endgame content to keep up with the power creep. Now as for the team, Final Empress is here for the main DPS, Media is here for the boost point stock and also the 12-hit AoE. Erica is here mainly for her life agility, which synergizes with Empress Galaxy, because Galaxy is a light attack, so Erica life agility can make Empress Galaxy hit more shield. Modoso EX is here for the weakness exploit and also for the Sullen ult and also for the 8-hit fire. Avite is a V-Day pet buff. Edgar is here for his ultimate is still really good. It's like a signal ult. And then you have Lavina EX for the break extension, and then you have Rock Bouquet for being Rock Bouquet, so... Do note that this is a super high endgame team with all A4, and there's a lot of A4 accessory here that's like give ult charge and boost point start a battle, and you probably cannot replicate the same on your account, but it's just gonna take 1 or 2 turns longer to try to replicate it. Other than that, everything else should be mostly the same. Now to fight Go, you can use Divine Beast turn 1 with Avite, Luca on Go doing a 16-hit dagger, 8-hit, but it's there's dagger fragility, so it's share of 16-hit instead. Rock Bouquet's Go, activating her ultimate, granting boost point region, damage cap, and also potency up. And then Modoso EX Go activating her Dragonfire skill, doing an 8-hit fire, and also granting everyone the weakness bypass buff, and also hits some of the shield from Oberek too. And then the FUA trigger from Empress, Lavina, and then Rock Bouquet in that order. And now Erica's Go, doing a 12-hit light, but life agility make it hit a lot more shield, so she's about to put Oberek shield 1 here. And then with the FUA from Empress and also the FUA from Lavina and Rock Bouquet again, Oberek is broken and now his cover is off, and now you can attack Erhard with it. Now Edgar's Go, activating his ultimate, debuffing everyone, buffing everyone, and also Media's Go, casting a 12-hit Wind, Light, and Dark, and at the end Grand Boost Point Stock to everyone. Then Avite's Go, activating her ultimate, granting buff to everyone. And then Final Empress goes, activating Galaxy, 6-hit AoE that pierces through any form of defense and also deal quite a lot of damage, as you see with the 3 million per hit there. And since Galaxy is a light attack, it also benefits from the life agility, and now Erhard's shield is also broken from it. Now the second turn start, Modoso using her ult again on Final Empress, because Empress already had potency up from Rock Bouquet last turn, it's just for the damage cap up. And then Rock Bouquet's Go deals some damage herself, trigger FUA again. And then Media's Go doing damage with her 12-hit Wind, Light, and Dark attack, as a start scene. Then Final Empress Go against with Galaxy, doing a lot of damage again. And with the damage, Erhard is now down for this battle. But Oberek's still quite alive in this turn though, but we have Lavina EX for that. Lavina uses her EX skill, and even though Oberek is enraged and about to go very angry next turn, you can just delay the enemy break turn if you have Lavina EX casting EX skill there, so... Now for the final turn, the rest is just doing enough damage to finish out Oberek, and with that, my explanation is done. Technically, now that the video is done, I guess I can go back and show myself on screen now. Back when we have the Wildland Celestia NPC, level 120 NPC, even for UNB, the boss was hard enough that it took the fight like 9 or 10 turns to finish, because the boss has a mechanic where you have to kill off each of the enemy mobs for the boss to get lower health, and then finally you have enough. The health is low enough so you can burst down the boss in one turn. And we went from that to, with the power of the Romancing Saga collab, the boss is that the newest boss, Awaken the Heart, to well-known character from Octopath 1 by the way, it's just done in 3 turns. Before I go, a final reminder, I would not be surprised with the pace of power creep we are currently on right now, that by the next 6 months, Final Empress will be power creep as no longer the best DPS in the game, and we will replace her with like a stronger version. I'm guessing like a 21 hit now, or maybe like an 18 hit AoE now. We got an 18 hit normal skill, we haven't got an 18 hit AoE yet. But if my feeling is right, the power creep will come eventually, except for Rockwood K, support slightly live longer in this game. So with that, please do not pull a character just because they are meta. A good example, I think, was in the past is Potus, where some people dislike Potus because he is Potus, and well, guess what, he's power creep now. The same thing will happen here. If you are not interested in the FF6 collab, if you are not interested in the Romancing Saga collab, it's fine to skip them. At this rate we are going, they will get power creep very soon anyway, so... And with that, I'll be going now. Thank you, and goodbye.